Well, howdy once again. Here we are with some Facebook Live. Little background, you can see I'm in Austin, Texas, and having a good time with a friend of mine, Julie. Hi, Julie. Um, so, self-defining and trying to find out who gets to say what about you, what you buy into, what it means, and how it makes you feel. And then what you want to do in the future with said person or said next stranger to be able to be less uncomfortable taking on a whole bunch of baggage that's not yours. So I'll give you an example. I had a call with a potential business partner the other day. And I loved her style. I loved her tenacity. I loved her passion. I loved her enthusiasm. And I even liked the way she was ballsy. But we were trying to transact something that didn't work out. And so, she did what a good salesperson would do. She pressed my boundaries and edged up and into my objections. Now, if you know anything about sales, your objections are often about, especially when it comes to spending money, limiting beliefs and just things that aren't making sense because all of your questions haven't been answered. Right. So she was pushing and prodding. And what was interesting was that I thought, well, wow, these are great questions that she's asking me. And what was funny was that I didn't have a pat answer, which is disturbing enough for me because I like to be smart and have answers. Um, but more importantly, was that as she was pushing and pressing, I was able to just pause and then ask myself, how and in what ways was what she was saying to me and about me and asking me, how was that resonating? And was it something that was like truly disturbing my equilibrium and making me more conscious, or was it just kind of like hitting up here and not really resonating deep below for things that I could find to look at that were real? And what I found was that even though once I hung up the phone, the head was worrying with the mind that goes, what she said, what does that mean? Maybe you don't do this, maybe you do that. But most importantly, it hadn't dropped into my gut and really triggered those emotions that make me feel bad. Now, the difference is that when someone aims to get in here or when I actually let them in here, that's just something that's just going to burn itself out. And I don't need to necessarily pay attention to it because it's just fueled by ego. When somebody hits past that and goes down, which this woman did a good job of hitting a little bit past it, but her stuff didn't really deeply resonate with me in a way that really made me move and made me change my mind. But it did give me something to look at because I was slightly disturbed emotionally. And I did, in fact, have a bit of a feeling of I'm doing something wrong. There's something that I don't get, which, all of that leads back to some sense of not enough or inferiority, right? But the most beautiful thing is this, is I have a very strong, solid, feminine strength. I am powerfully intuitive. And so I know the difference between and, deep resonating disturbance. And so because it wasn't deep, I didn't really have to take a long look at it, but it did disturb me a little bit emotionally. So I needed to take a look at it. And I did that. And I started to look at, what do I think about the things that she was asking me and how do I feel about my presentation and my approach? And most importantly, what do I want to do differently? And what happened was I ended up reaching out to somebody else that I had worked with before. And it was truly almost like transformational because in reaching out to this other person, I felt the thing that I need in my business interactions. I need to be met. I need to be heard. I need to know that who I am is actually resonating with the person I'm interacting with. And it's not some sort of agenda that's about them, their script, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. That doesn't mean that I can't interact and do business with people who have an agenda. I do all the time. But for me, because I'm really like I'm a life coach, right? So I have to be able to meet people on every level where they're at, and hence I need to be met that same way. And it's super important because I won't spend money. I won't buy anything anybody's selling. I won't believe anything that they're saying unless those things happen. Unless I'm feeling like I'm being deeply met and the message and the way that they're talking is resonating with me. And so all you business people out there who've got your stuff scripted, who've got your perfect sales pages that promise all this stuff that the truth is that only God knows if someone can deliver, because the work is on the other side. I think that that's great. And I also know that for me and a lot of other people like me, the message which holds a person like me has to have depth and weight. It has to resonate at a deeper level than just, I can make a ton of money, or you can do this, right? For me, the power in what I do is that I can bring people to greater peace. I can, just by being myself and helping people and meeting people and moving with people and giving them some direction and guidance, I can, in fact, transform people's lives very simply through some basic tools that I know, have learned, and have experienced myself. So there you go on being met. Make sure that the people that you're interacting with, if you want to live a life of power, make sure that the people that you're interacting with, if you want to feel good about yourself, walking away from interactions and not taking on anybody's stuff, make sure that they're able to meet you. Understand what it is to be met. And if you're not sure what that means and you don't have enough power to understand your own intuition, I'm doing a webinar next Thursday, September 22nd. The link will be here in the description and in the comments for the Eventbrite. It's free. Please register. I'd love to have you there. I want to talk about the masculine and feminine and how we need to marry them so that we can go back to wholeness and balance and experience greater power, because none of this is about bringing anybody down, man. All of this is about bringing us together in a more holistic way. See you next time. I hope you enjoy the day.